Books and literature are a gateway to infinite wisdom and knowledge. At least that's what old people like to think. They are physical records of things that vary from history, science, and erotica. Every day when I was a kid, parents and teachers alike were constantly telling me to read more books because they're a good source of knowledge, and like the good kid I was, I didn't read any books. I'm not the biggest reader out there. I don't seek out novels to read or books to learn. I tried reading this book I bought called I Am a Cat. I found out about it by watching PewDiePie. I bought this like 3 years ago and I didn't get through the second chapter. For people like me, aka lazy people, there is a wave of fatigue that instantly hits you whenever you open a book. I guess that's why they invented ebooks and audiobooks. Now this doesn't mean I don't read stuff at all. When I'm making these videos and they require some research like the ones I did for AI or the ones I did for aliens, I do seek out answers in Wikipedia and other related sources like science papers. Thankfully, I don't use TikTok, so my brain's attention span doesn't blue screen every time a sentence is longer than 3 syllables. I have made resolutions that I want to read more books like philosophy books like Albert Camus' The Myth of Sisyphus. Unfortunately, that New Year's resolution was for 2022 and we're 3 years into the future. Because walls of text don't really seem to interest me, I tend to seek out books that contain pictures. A lot of pictures. Comics. Or what I prefer more, Comics Japan. I've been reading quite a considerable amount of mangas this past year, and I have enjoyed reading it a lot. I mainly read comedy and romance comedy. Yeah, you can call me a normally one. A man's gotta do what he's gotta do to fill this empty heart. When it comes to anime and manga, I am a complete novice. Though ever since I've made that anime video around a month or 2 ago, I have been dipping my toes into more anime content. I'm currently watching through City by Ray Krislianggi, and I'm playing that new anime horse game. Maybe I'll make a video ranking animes I've watched in this time, but maybe. We'll see in the future. But back to the topic of mangas. I've been reading quite a lot of it like I said before. One of my personal favorites is this one called The Angel Next Door's Supposed Me Rotten. Basically tells the story of the day-to-day life of a high school boy who lived next door to the prettiest girl in school that basically helps him get back on track in life. And then the classic romance comedy back and forth ensues for the next like 50 chapters. You might have heard of it, it's very popular, and I only learned after reading through the manga that there's apparently already an anime adaptation for it. At least I know what I'm watching next. But this video isn't about that manga. It's about another manga that's not romance, but it is a comedy. And I think it's criminal how underrated this manga is. This manga is simply called Nick and Lever. Nick and Lever, or Lever, depends if you're British or not, is a manga written and drawn by Miyato Kyogaro, first released in 2020, and it tells a story about 2 Americans, one named Nick, a white guy with a hairstyle that rivals Polnareff, and the other named Lever, a black guy with muscles the size of a warship, trying to fit into the ordinary life in Japan. I first discovered this manga while scrolling through Twitter and saw that Hakita, yes, that Hakita, the creator of Ultra Kill, tweeting about the manga. When I saw the tweet, I was immediately interested and read through the manga, and I laughed my ass off reading through it. I know comedy and anime gets a really bad rap, usually because most of the jokes either resort into sexual harassment or perversion, or they're just generally not funny, but there are a few diamonds in the rough like Nichijou that fucking nails it down.
Think of a big black man chasing you!
And this manga, in my opinion, rivals Nichijou in terms of its hilariousness and ridiculousness. I know that really doesn't mean much with my very narrow watch list, but follow me for a second here. There isn't really much of a plot to follow. The setting differs every chapter, and there isn't really any development in the character or the environment around them. And every chapter has its own gag that is wildly unexpected. The manga itself is drawn in a distinctively realistic pencil-drawn style, which is mostly what sets it apart from any other manga in the market. The style gives it its unique personality and feel to it, and while the art style is leaning more to realistic, the gags and the jokes are anything but. There are some bits in this manga that I think Bugs Bunny would be jealous about. Some of these gags include, but are not limited to, Nick getting a high fever and using his body to make curry because his body temperature is so high, and Nick calling Lever to squish him with a comically large hammer to get through his door because he lost his key, multiple instances of them breaking the fourth wall, and breaking the borders of the manga, Lever using a car's momentum to fling himself through the window of a burning house to save a woman only to get stuck in there himself, only for Nick to drive into the house to save them as they ride out of there Mad Max style. And they also sometimes just die. I'm not gonna spoil more of the manga. I recommend you just go out there and experience it for yourself because it's genuinely really funny. The realistic art style has accompanied with the most ridiculously cartoonish gags are a combination you don't see anywhere, and it delivers the combo so beautifully. Also, I don't think an anime adaptation would work for this at all because it's very hard to execute a style like that well in animation. Not to mention half the jokes include going over the panel borders, which I don't think is possible in animation. I don't think I've even seen anybody talk about this manga except for Hakita. If you search Nick and Lever on YouTube, you'll see 3 videos talking about manga, followed by 3 dozen Nikkei 30 Fortnite videos. It's insane how underrated this manga is and how lucky I am to see it. Thank you, Akira. Unfortunately, the manga has ended at around 3 volumes and 134 chapters. I think I remember reading somewhere the editor/the publisher of the manga dropped it because it was not doing financially well, but don't take that for granted as I don't remember where I saw it, nor can I verify that statement. However, the author did make a sequel called Nick and Lever SG, a series published by himself. He used to have a fanshare site to upload the chapters for you to read for free, but for unknown reasons the site is down, but you can still read Nick and Lever SG on the author's Twitter, and unfortunately there hasn't been any new chapters since February of this year, nor has the author been active since June. So it's uncertain what the future holds for Nick and Lever, but I genuinely hope the author comes back, finds a solid publisher to publish more of it, and gets a 6-season long anime adaptation, and then Netflix catches on, makes a live action series, and then a box office movie, and Nick and Lever becomes the next Mr. Bean. Nick and Lever still stands to be one of the funniest manga I've ever read, and I cannot recommend it to you enough. I'll leave a link to the author's Twitter in the description down below for you to check them out, and for the first manga you can read it on sites like Mangadex. And I think that wraps it up for this video. Make sure to like, subscribe for more videos like these, and if you're still here, give me more manga or book recommendations for me to read. I really want to read more books and manga for real this year, so give me your best book recommendations, whether it be a romance, comedy, or whatever. Comment down below. Again, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time. Good night.